for Kratos in the new God of War reboots.
Okay.
But he recently died.
Oh.
Within the last decade.
Mm-hmm. He just had to put Marge in the thumbnail.
I was gonna get a picture of the eyes.
Oh God, please!
And I was
don't.
like, oh, that might be a little too much.
No. Fucking Marge, though.
Yeah, you know what? I don't feel that bad for her. I don't think Marge is a great person.
Teenagers are just the worst.
No, they are, and I get that that's, for example, the teenagers I don't even think they were teenagers.
No, they were preteens.
Yeah, if you're watching the little pregame here while I share the stream, we saw Wicked for good, and these two and our 12-year-old girls were sitting in front of us talking and just being horses' asses the entire time.
Which is weird because, like, I would imagine 12-year-old girls would be, like, the target audience for this movie.
You would think. Turns out it was us.
Then again, it has been, like, 20 years since that show was really making the rounds, so I guess that they might have been a little bit young for it.
Well, you would think, like, they're probably like Ariana Grande. I don't know, is that a thing that kids like?
Probably.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, she does the pop music, or so I'm led to believe.
She plays that rock music.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even call her rock.
I know. I was being old,
mm-hmm.
or as the kids would say, an old.
Them thar rock and roll.
Yeah. It'll let Satan in. All right, let's get this done so we can go eat pizza and watch a movie. By the way, we have a good thing planned.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Whee!
Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
And this is the weekly podcast called The Jedi Enclave Presents. This is Podcasting Podcast.
Well, it's a mostly weekly podcast.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it doesn't happen.
Sometimes during the holidays, yeah. There were, in fact, you're probably not used to seeing it Saturdays, and we will not.
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. We're here.
We're making it everybody else's problem.
Yes, and then next week we won't be here on Wednesday as scheduled either because it's the day before Thanksgiving, and I have to stress out about my in-laws coming for Thanksgiving. But we're here today. This is our weekly podcast about Star Wars accessories.
And some things
fantasy,
that aren't Star Wars at all.
Yeah, sometimes just musicals, which is what we're today.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about today? We saw Wicked.
There's that big controversy.
There's some Star Wars news. There are some trailers
mm-hmm.
and a couple of other little bits of fantasy news. We watched Welcome to Derry,
mm-hmm.
episode 4. Actually, now that I'm saying all this, we have a lot of shit to talk about. We should probably get going.
I think we better pedal to the metal here.
Before we get any further, though, if you could go give us a like on Facebook and YouTube, Twitch and Discord, Blue Sky, all the things you can do for us for free that cost you nothing, that helps us out. TikTok is that thing we're on, and I've published a video that has 10,000 views.
Good for you.
Hot damn.
Very impressed.
Yeah. For us, that's fucking great. So you can help us out there. Let's start off with some Star Wars, since a lot of the stuff we're talking about today is not Star Wars.
Okay.
So there's no good way to say this. Star Wars Visions, an episode of Star Wars Visions, stole shot for shot a lightsaber fight from a fan film. And let me give some context real quick. First of all, Lucasfilm, for all 3 seasons of Star Wars Visions, hired out different animation houses for every episode
mm-hmm.
to do their own little story in the Star Wars sandbox, where none of it's canon, none of it matters.
But there's lots of lightsabers and some stormtroopers and TIE fighters and shit.
And in one episode, a rock concert that happens, the greatest rock concert in the galaxy that happens on Tatooine, which is actually a really fun episode. And in the first season,
second season,
the Bandits of Golak.
Yeah,
is that second season?
Season 2, episode 7.
Okay, was at the time I thought was really neat because the lightsaber fights are really cool. It's got this Indian how do you even say that? It's
Vibe?
Yeah, it's like supposed to be like kind of Bollywood a little bit.
Yeah, because it's made by an Indian animation studio.
Right, which was 88 Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that there was a guy that made a Star Wars fan film before that. His name's Lorenz Hideyoshi, and posted on Instagram a few days ago a side-by-side of a sequence from his fan film and then a sequence from this episode of Star Wars Visions. And it is shot for shot the same, to the point to where no argument could be made that it was just a coincidence. It was 100% stolen.
This lasts like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't just evoke.
Yeah.
Like it, beat for beat, shot for shot, for like 10 seconds.
Like there's the same lightsaber movements. There's the same
camera
force
angles.
techniques. There's exactly the same camera. Like
yes.
it's blatant.
What they did, and we'll talk about why they did it here in a second. I think they just imported the footage and drew over it, and just that's how they did it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Now, and this is not an excuse, by the way. I think I feel like I need to explain probably why I think this happened, but it is absolutely not an excuse. This is shameful. It's absolutely shameful.
Mm-hmm.
They probably were coming up on a deadline to get the episode delivered to Lucasfilm, and it probably wasn't as done as they wanted it to be. And so they cut corners and used someone else's work to get it done on time. Right. As we know, VFX artists and computer animators are probably among the most abused personnel in Hollywood.
Underpaid, worst treated.
Yes. And so they took a risk and they stole someone's work, and they probably assumed that they weren't going to get caught, and they absolutely did. And now to get to the next issue, if you watch our show, you know that I don't skip on opportunities to shit on corporations, right? This is not Disney's fault.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, it's how could Disney do this?" and blah 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 blah. And
okay, this was stolen from a fan film.
Yeah.
Are you saying Disney should watch every single fan film and have someone on staff who has encyclopedic knowledge of everything,
every single
so that
one,
they can compare that to every bit of Star Wars they ever do? Because that is impractical at the very least.
There's a broader thing here too, which is that I would bet all the money in my pockets against all the money in your pockets that there is a clause in the contract that they signed with Lucasfilm that was a good faith. You're not going to plagiarize off of other people's work to produce the work that we're hiring you for. And they broke that. And there's no way Disney could have known that it was a thing. And it's not even really Disney. Like, if you must blame someone, it's Lucasfilm. That's the other thing, is people have trouble making the distinction between Disney and Lucasfilm. When Disney, they're like, what is Star Wars Visions? Is that a show we did?
Yeah. To Disney, basically all of Star Wars is just an entry on their accounting ledger.
Right. It's a thing they own.
It's what do they spend? What do they make back from?
Right. Now, I've seen some interesting discourse about this, about the distinction between. Okay, so the fan film is a Star Wars fan film, which is an IP those fans do not own, but the choreography, the cinematography, everything that went into creating that, they do own that. That is their intellectual property. I think I would be, it would still be a little shitty, but I would be, I think, less pissed off about this if they decided to pluck one of the characters out of there and made them into a real Star Wars character. Yeah. In which case, by the way, if they did that, the makers of that film would have been insanely flattered if their fan film character had been plucked out of fan film and put into Star Wars.
I think so.
That's not what happened, though. They were rushed to get a job done, and they got lazy, and they stole someone's work. And I imagine that this will have an insane financial repercussion for the animation house from Lucasfilm. I imagine that the money that they paid them to do that probably isn't their money anymore. And I'm not a legal scholar on the matter either. But if there is an issue where like that creator does have certain rights over the choreography and other things, they could be liable for another lawsuit from the other side of that as well. So
I guess my biggest question here is, why did it take so long for this to come out?
I know that
presumably the people who made that film at least vaguely remember, like, because they would have watched this in editing like hundreds of times. I would imagine that would be like at least somewhere in the back of their head while they're watching this, because this was season 2. This came out like 2 years ago.
It was a while ago, yeah.
So
like, I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't even hear about it until they posted about it on Instagram the other day.
And like they came out with it, what, just a week or 2 ago?
Yeah. So I'm not really sure. Bottom line is that it's really shitty.
For sure.
And that animation house deserves to pay the consequences for that. That's what happens. And this is kind of a warning to everyone else. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the thing is that like you could have come up with something just as cool, because it's a cool part of the sword fight, but it isn't mind blowing, right?
I mean, it's fine.
It's lightsaber fights, right? You could have come up with something just as cool.
There's some lightsabers. There's some cool force things.
Yeah,
but like none of it was essential to the episode.
Yeah, you got lazy. You had to turn it in. You got lazy,
or it was just a project management issue, and like they didn't scope out enough time to fill in the combat sequence they wanted to do, so they just had to find something to fill airtime. Yeah,
it's shitty, and I hope they suffer the consequences. Mm-hmm. Leslie Headland's back in the news for Star Wars, and oh boy,
oh man,
some people are gonna get pretty upset about this, and you know what? I'm not one of them, because everything she said in this interview, I 100% agree with. I feel like we should probably preface this by rendering the opinion that we render every time Star Wars Acolyte comes up, which is that we enjoyed some of it, and some of it we were just like,
it's fine.
This is fine.
Yeah.
And the problem with us is that we expected something that was from start to finish, oh God, that's so cool. And there are moments like that in the show where you like we watched Acolyte, I think a couple months ago, and there are moments where we were cackling because it was so fucking cool. Yeah. But a lot of the time it's like, okay, whatever. But Leslie Headland is kind of a
boogeyman for the right-wing grifters.
Yes, absolutely true. But also has been kind of out of the public eye since Acolyte.
Yeah, 'cause she's been working on other shit.
But also I think she's like, Star Wars fans? No, I don't think so.
Which honestly, I don't blame her.
Yeah. She brought up some pretty good points. The first of which is that she was like, look, I'm extraordinarily proud of the work that we did. Mm-hmm. I am a massive Star Wars fan, which, by the way, is not for you to weigh in on. You angry man in the comment section, you don't have the authority to tell someone whether or not they're a Star Wars fan. Mm-hmm. Leslie Headland says she's a massive Star Wars fan, and I believe it. So her other thing was like we regret nothing. We're proud of what we did.
We made the show we wanted to make. But
also it was very clear pretty quickly that there was a problem with viewership and the writing was on the wall.
The public demand for a second season was just not there.
Right. Now, she started to talk a little bit about the cultural landscape of the time that led to this, which is that if this show had been made by anyone other than Leslie Headland, it would have been fine, and no one would have had a problem with it. The problem is this character assassination that happened by the right wing to make Leslie Headland look like an accomplice to Harvey Weinstein, which is not accurate. And we did our own like insane deep dive into this, where I was searching through court records looking for any mention of Leslie Headland's name in any of the Weinstein court records that pointed at her as an accomplice. So, like when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, there were a bunch of people implicated. The first of which being Ghislaine Maxwell,
Yes.
who was his accomplice, and the right wing really wanted us to believe that Leslie Headland was the Ghislaine Maxwell to Harvey Weinstein, but it's just not true. And the way that we know about Ghislaine Maxwell is because all the girls that came forward were like, it was Ghislaine Maxwell, right? There isn't a single person in any of the court filings that I could find that even mentioned Leslie Headland having known about anything, having been involved with anything. To the best of our knowledge, she was a PA, right? She was an assistant who, just like every other assistant in Hollywood, it's like everyone in Hollywood knew that Harvey Weinstein was a piece of shit, but
didn't have personal involvement with the stuff that made him a piece of shit.
Right. Now, just because you don't constantly speak, like, I get the part of the argument. It's like, well, if you knew he's a piece of shit, why didn't you say anything? And on one hand, it's like, fucking preach. But on the other hand, like, people low on the totem pole, like Leslie Headland, you got to pay your fucking rent in Los Angeles, and that shit is expensive. So why piss off your boss, right? It's not morally correct, but I understand why.
Specifically, why piss off a boss who has the pull to blacklist you from the entire industry?
Yeah, the insane power. And also, why don't you go after people like Quentin Tarantino, who is on record being like, yeah, we all knew he's a perv.
Yeah.
Or was it Matt Damon who's like, yeah, he grew up my girlfriend. It's like, well, you didn't say anything until after he was fucking in jail, so why aren't we going after them as well? The point is that Leslie Headland had nothing to do with the Harvey Weinstein thing. We know that for a fact. But the right wing, because she was a lesbian, needed a way to vilify her. And so they said, well, we can't say we're not watching this because you're a lesbian, because let's be honest, it comes off as a little homophobic and a little misogynist. We also can't say
we're not watching this because you're
a woman that has tattoos and that makes us feel really uncomfortable. So we're going to make you into a sex abuser, right?
So all those right-wing bros who say, do your research, bro.
Yeah.
We fucking did.
Yeah, we did the research. Leslie Headland had nothing to do with Harvey Weinstein, at least his crimes. And was kind of the shitstorm that came with this show. And, you know, as a reason it was embroiled in controversy. If like I said, if literally anyone other than Leslie Headland had made this show, it would have passed by as an unremarkable Book of Boba Fett level. Some stuff, and we like it.
I think it was a little better.
I think it was a little better than that too. Not much better, but it was a little better. And as we've said, Star Wars: The Acolyte's biggest crime is just being mid.
Yeah. Like,
it has some exciting stuff in it. Otherwise, not a ton of other shit that, you know, it could have been better.
In fact, Leslie Headland mentioned that during the, like, when she was talking about the reception and how much she wanted to make another season. She said that Disney basically doesn't judge Star Wars content against, like, how much viewership it gets in an absolute sense. Mm-hmm. It judges it against how much other Star Wars stuff gets.
Right.
And compared to that, Acolyte did not do well.
Right. Which is silly because it's not really. It was on its face. It was kind of a swing, in that it was unlike all of the other Disney Plus shows that we had, in tone and in concept. Honestly, one of the problems is that the tone and the concept were different, but they still tried to shove it into the Disney Plus show format, which is like, 21-minute episodes with a 10-minute front-loaded previously on and then a bunch of credits at the end. Yeah. And so where at the end of the episode, you're like, that was unsatisfying. Like, we got 25 minutes of content, and now we have to wait for the next fucking episode to come out next week to know,
because of that format, they had to do a whole bunch of weird editing that didn't really make sense. Like, one episode was really, really short and ends on this dramatic cliffhanger. Then the next episode is longer than usual because, like, all should have been one episode. Supposed to be one episode. Right. They just had to pick a moment to cut.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I try not to get into conspiracy theories too much. One thing that's not a conspiracy theory that's absolutely true is the fact that there are foreign adversaries online that are kind of stoking our Americans' tendency to bitch about things and I feel like Star Wars Acolyte was one of those. It's really funny. I've been seeing a lot of screenshots because I'm not on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's.
Because you're not a Nazi.
Right. Also, I think
just call it Twitter.
I think you're allowed to dead name
about.
Twitter. I think that's fine. Yeah. From what I understand, they plan to I think they are introducing a feature where your profile shows country of origin.
That's gonna be interesting.
And I've seen a bunch of screenshots from ultra right wing pages that have tons of followers that are like country of origin Pakistan, country of origin
Russia,
Russia or was it there's another one that I was like a bunch of like the Philippines or just like obviously people somewhere else trying to get us all to be pissed at each other, and I feel like they did the same thing with Star Wars Acolyte, and so it became a whole culture war thing. And if you've not seen Star Wars Acolyte, it's fine. It is not worth you signing up for Disney Plus to watch, probably. Like to spend a bunch of money on, unless you're going to watch a bunch of other shit too. But it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
there are worse uses for a couple hours.
Let's talk about some more cheerful things.
Okay.
So it was actually kind of a big surprise to me. House of the Dragon Season 4 and A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Season 2 have both been renewed. Or I should say those are the seasons that have been renewed.
Which is fucking wild because House of Dragon Season 3 and...
That's not until summer.
Knight of the Seven Kingdoms isn't even out yet.
That's not until May.
Like...
So
what the fuck?
Yeah, so this is how Hollywood kind of works. Where this is where we started to kind of figure out, by the way, talking about Star Wars Acolyte, this is where we kind of started figuring out things were going a little wrong. Was that there
was no news about Season 2 at any point.
Right, but before the show ended.
And this was also what confused us about Andor way back before Season 1, because like before Season 1, Season 2 was
greenlit.
booked.
Yeah, so
we basically, like, what?
Yeah, so.
Fuck?
When a show gets greenlit for the next season, before the current season even comes out, is a huge indicator that the production company believes that they have hit a home fucking run.
Yes.
Because consider the amount of speculation you're doing to order and spend money on a new season,
especially something like House of the Dragon that requires all that filming on set, all those extras, all that
the VFX,
costuming, all that VFX.
Yes. So the fact that they have renewed it so early and so far away from Night of the Seven Kingdoms is in May, I think, or March or May, or maybe April, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And House of the Dragon Season 4 isn't until summer 2026, and already HBO is like, oh, you guys are gonna like this a lot, so we're doing another one.
We're mashing the button.
Yes.
Just make more.
Which is exciting to me because I have to admit to being a little disappointed in House of the Dragon Season 2. And I understand why it ended up shaking up the way it was. I know that there was the writer strike and there was the actor strike and everything, which had more of an impact. I think the original thought was, oh, they're all British actors and everything, so it won't really affect them. Oh, it turns out Americans had a little bit more of their hands in House of the Dragon than people thought. So as a result, the season was about 2 episodes shorter than it needed to have been. There was all this buildup, all this talk of war and dragon fights, and we did get one quick dragon fight.
And then it ends on like 5 minutes of people just walking while epic music plays.
Yes. Off to war. Off to the war we wanted to see in this season. And they're like, oh, we're going off to the war. And we're just like, just get there.
We'll show you the war in like 2 years.
Yeah.
It'll be great. Trust us.
I have a feeling they are going to show us the fucking war in this next season for them to be like so confident with it.
Because like we got a few images about the season.
Oh, that's the other thing too.
Like
yeah,
Damon in the middle of a fucking battle.
Yes. I know when we were doing the recaps of season 2, we famously no, it's not to, you guys probably have no idea who the fuck we are. If you're tuning in right now, you're just like, oh, it's 2 nerds talking about House of the Dragon. Yeah. It was a recurring joke we made about Oscar Tully taming the dragon that is Daemon Targaryen, because Daemon just shows up like I'm in charge of things here, and then Oscar, this like 14-year-old boy, is like,
actually, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
And Damon's like, okay, you're in charge.
I'll die for you, my king. Yeah. So yeah, there's a shot of them riding into battle with one another, which is really cool. Also, someone pointed out on social media that if you're a 14-year-old boy and it's your first battle, standing right next to Daemon Targaryen is probably the safest place or the most dangerous place.
Yeah.
Because on one hand,
no middle ground. There.
Right. So on one hand, Daemon is an amazing fighter, and if he needs Oscar Tully alive, we'll keep him alive. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, everyone seems to be real pissed at Daemon all the time.
And understandably so.
And everyone wants to kill him, so everyone's aiming for him.
Lest we forget, this is the man of the murder hoodie.
Yes. Oh, he did perfect that fucking murder hoodie thing. Oh, what else did we... Oh, Project Hail Mary had its second trailer, which if you're fans of the show, you know that I'm a huge nerd for this book. It's probably my favorite non-fantasy book in the world. It's amazing. If you've not read, it is by the same guy that wrote The Martian.
Andy Weir.
Amazing book. Looks to me like it's going to be an amazing movie. And I will express my doubts. I think I might have mentioned this before. I never saw Ryan Gosling in my head as the main character of this book. And I've read this book like 8 or 9 times.
I mean, he is carrying off the nerd persona pretty well.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that Ryland Grace in the book is this like real jacked, like action hero turned middle school science teacher, right? And so I was never thinking about Ryan Gosling in this role. However, it looks like he's going to do a great job. And I'm a little disappointed. They're giving a lot of the plot away in this trailer, which one of the fun things about reading that book, which go and read it before you watch the movie or before you watch the trailer, because it's a lot more fun to experience the story in the way that it's intended. Because it has this media in res beginning and everything, and it's really great. But at its core, it's this beautiful buddy movie between these two friends that gets you through the whole story, and it's so much fun. And there's a big twist and everything. So we will be watching that when it comes to theaters, obviously, and we'll be reviewing it. We saw a Stargate something.
Amazon
a teaser,
is greenlighting a new Stargate series.
Yeah.
Which is all we know. We know that there like a couple of the original showrunners from the old Stargate shows are involved. And that's about it. Like they talked for 6 minutes about how excited they are to do it and how they're bringing it all back and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, neither one of us knows very much about Stargate. So like this isn't something that we're super knowledgeable about or super hyped about.
I think our dads are probably more excited for something like this because I remember my dad being really into it when it was on whatever channel it was on. I remember also... I think that sounds right. I also think I remember it having a really killer main theme, if I remember correctly. And I know that they can go through a portal and go back either in time or to another planet or in another planet back in time.
Well, I mean, time and space are the same thing, so I guess that's how the portals work.
Yeah. So, and if it is another planet, it's a planet that looks a lot like just Egypt.
Yeah.
So I clearly have not seen Stargate. So if you're a Stargate
if you're
fan,
out there and you're excited about it, I'm really happy.
Yeah, let us know. And like, you know, if it's a big enough thing, we'll probably talk about it as well. Let us know in the comments if you're a Stargate fan, and then give us like a quick elevator pitch.
Yes.
If you're trying to sell the show to us to make a reboot, which, you know, obviously we would never. But yeah. Jimmy says, top of the morning to you both.
Hello.
What's up, man? Jimmy is the reason that I watched a show called Talamasca on AMC Plus, which is in the same Anne Rice universe as Interview with a Vampire.
Okay.
And I've not seen the season finale yet. I don't think it's out for another couple of days, but it was fine. Vampires and you know, it's that kind of thing. So. Thanks for the recommendation, Jimmy. I appreciate it. All right, let's talk about Wicked. Wicked for Good, which is part 2 of a 2 film. So we just saw it just a couple hours
literally
ago.
Act 2 of the Broadway musical.
Yes. So we're gonna spoil this. So if you've not seen it yet, go and watch it. We got about 15 minutes for this, 15 minutes for it. Welcome to Derry.
So we're gonna be going quick, which is something that the movie did not do.
Yeah, it goes pretty. It takes its time.
Because like
you want to do a quick spoiler free?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the second act of Wicked is like what, 45 minutes, something like that.
It's not that long.
It's pretty brisk.
It's short. It's shorter than the first act.
They had to stretch that out into 2 hours
Yeah.
to make a movie. So the pacing is a little glacial.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Now, let's. I'll repeat something that I said to you in the car on the way home, which is that when I heard that they were making this into 2 films, my first concern was, okay, so they're going to do a movie for Act 1 and they're going to do a movie for Act 2, obviously, because there's a real clean story.
Excellent dividing line.
The problem with that is that all the good songs in Wicked are in Act 1.
Yes.
So, and don't get me wrong, there are a couple of great songs in Act 2, but
all the ones you know from Wicked are from Act 1.
Popular, Defying Gravity,
The Wizard and I.
Yes, Dancing Through Life.
Mm-hmm.
All of the real famous Wicked things are in that first movie. And so my thought was, what songs are... Because I know, like, No Good Deed is amazing. And For Good is really good.
And that's about it?
Yeah. And so they wrote a couple new songs. One of them is for Elphaba called No Place Like Home, which is actually, honestly, a really clever riff on the whole Wizard of Oz thing.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
And then Glinda gets one.
I think she's just Glinda at this point.
Oh, right. Yeah,
she
changes her name, by the way.
She stops being Glinda like halfway through Act 1.
All right, in Solidarity.
Yes.
Which I think the whole song is just about how impressed she is with her little bubble car.
Basically, yeah.
It's not that. She's real sad about. There's a romance thing she's real sad about.
The song itself was not super impressive to me, but the cinematography in that scene was great.
Yeah, there's some good things in like filmmaking wise too. Yeah.
So cinematography in general, fantastic. Set design, really, really good.
Out of this world,
They go completely over the top with everything, which is what The Wizard of Oz should be.
Yes.
So
all colors and craziness and shit. Jeff Goldblum is in this movie, and of course,
if you've seen Jeff Goldblum in anything, you know what you're getting.
He has one shtick.
Yep.
And you know that when they were sitting down doing the screenplay for these movies,
like, who should we get for the Wizard?
Yeah, obviously Jeff Goldblum was the only option, and he does a really good job. And every scene he has, you gotta laugh a little bit because he's just
that goofy awkward.
Yes,
like. He's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
There's no other way to describe him.
The friendship chemistry between Elphaba and Glinda, and respectively Cynthia Rivio and Ariana Grande, is out of this world.
They carry this.
Yes. They're both amazing. Jonathan Bailey playing Fiyero is also really good. The guy that plays Thomas Godolkin in Gen V is the Munchkin Bach. He reprising his role from the first film. Also really good. I think I hate Elphaba's sister a little bit after this one, after this movie.
Yeah, she doesn't come out super great.
Yeah, she does not look very good at the end of all of this. And, well, if you've seen Wizard of Oz, you know what happens to her. So, well, let's get into spoilers.
Okay.
Speaking of which. So
we open with everyone in Oz hates Elphaba because she's the Wicked Witch of the West, and they are not immune to propaganda.
Right. And the Wizard of Oz is building a border wall on the southern border between the United States and Mexico called the Yellow Brick Road, which is, I think, a 1-to-1 comparison that they kind of mix it. There are a couple of spots through the movie where they took some like present day issues and kind of folded it into the movie a little bit.
Which, to be fair, in the original, the wizard is a little bit of a fascist.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a couple of times in this movie where, like, the Yellow Brick Road feels a very much, we're going to build a wall kind of thing. And also he has this monologue a little bit later on about truth and how people won't believe things that conflict with their already held points of view because they don't want to.
Yeah.
And I wish
it means that they were wrong, and
yes.
no one wants to be wrong.
Right. And that's the thing. That's the most terrifying thing about being wrong, is that it feels the exact same way as being right. Mm-hmm. And so people have a hard time separating it out because it intuitively feels the same, right? And
we gotta stop editorializing. We're gonna run out of time.
Oh, I don't care. I'm editorializing the fuck out of this because that one scene, I was sitting there thinking, this should be ridiculous. So like the crux is, oh, you can tell everyone that I don't have magic and that I'm all full of shit.
They're not gonna believe.
But they won't believe you because they're gonna believe what they want to believe, and that should.
And also, it's Jeff Goldblum saying
right.
all this, which makes
it
it
sounds
slightly
really
more ridiculous.
Right? Yeah. And you're sitting there thinking this should be stupid. There should be a stupid reason, but it's not. And I think that's what was really alarming. So yeah, they're building their. They're building their
the yellow brick road,
yeah, but they're using animals to do it, and as we know,
which is fucked up because in Oz the animals are intelligent, sentient beings.
Right. So Elphaba is riding around,
she's causing trouble. And
by the way, a couple of pretty they do a couple like superhero things with her that you would see in like a Superman movie, where I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. She loves to swoop out of nowhere with her broom, or she does the Batman thing a lot.
Yeah, where she just disappears.
Right. So like, there's this gorgeous shot later on in the film where it's quite dark. Glinda walks out on her balcony.
Mm-hmm. She's like, Elphaba, where the fuck are you?
Yeah, she's like, I know.
Just come out.
Yeah.
The camera goes like,
yeah, she looks everywhere.
540 degrees around her, and then there's Elphaba.
Yeah, she's just standing there, and she just looks like she's melting into the black. Yeah, it's really really neat. Yeah. Also, the whoever did the CG for her fucking cloak thing,
yeah,
like that dude deserves a raise. It looks really really cool. Also, I think we said in the car, the monkeys look really good. The flying monkeys look great. All the animals actually look pretty good.
Yeah.
And the bits of like Oz and stuff that are CG feel good because everything else is so garish and ridiculous that
it just blends in.
They can do garish, ridiculous shit with the effects, and it's fine. So this is where everyone is. Everyone's miserable.
Yes.
So fucking Glinda is gonna get married to Fiyero, but Fiyero
is not into it.
He's not in love with Glinda, but she wants him to be so bad because he's her picture book prince, and and then fucking Bach just wants to fuck Elphaba, but Elphaba doesn't like him.
He wants Glinda.
Glinda, right? Yeah.
But because Glinda told him to go hit on Nessa is in love with him, and it's
right.
A big theme of the entire show is everyone is miserable.
Everyone's miserable, and everyone's gonna cry. And like Nessa, Elphaba's sister, really wants Bach to love her, but he's like, I don't. I'm so sorry. Can I please go to my love? And she's like, no. In fact,
like, no, I'm the governor of Munchkinville. You're gonna stay.
I will pass a law to keep you here.
Yes. Not just you. All Munchkins now need travel permits to leave, which is incredibly fucked up.
Yeah, everything just gets more and more fascist in this world. Miss Morrible or Madame Morrible is the evil CJ Craig of this. She's the press secretary and she's just kind of like manipulating everything.
She's the propaganda chief.
Yeah. And I feel like the only person that's really happy with how anything's going is the wizard, who's like, you know what? This is great.
Yeah.
Everything's working out great for me. I love this.
We're building infrastructure. Yeah. Everyone loves me.
So everyone, the Wicked Witch has to be stopped. She's trying to kill everyone.
Except she's not trying to kill anyone.
Right. She's just trying to help everybody. And so Fiyero is leading this army to find her, but like he knows that when he finds her, he's never going to be able to hurt her because he's in love with her. And here in the middle of all of it is Glinda just trying to keep everything together, right? And like, guys, we can be happy and smiley if we want to, if you just do it like me, right?
Just stop being fascists.
Yeah.
And then Elphaba won't hate you, and then we can all be happy.
Right. And then I can float around in this sweet-ass bubble car.
Yeah. Everyone wins.
Why are you trying to ruin the bubble car for me?
So this all comes to a head at Glinda and Fiyero's wedding. Elphaba comes to crash it, and she confronts the wizard, and the wizard's like, hey, I'm wonderful, and we'll do this great song and dance,
Yeah.
and like,
Didn't that convince you to be friends with
Elphaba's
me?
like, okay, look, you got to stop being fascist to animals, and Wizard's like, okay, I guess.
You know what? Fine.
Also, you got to let the monkeys go.
As long as you
Great.
let me keep the oh fuck.
All right, here's the key.
You know
can
what, fine.
let the monkeys go. I'm gonna go freshen up for the wedding. You can just hang out here for a minute. And then the monkeys are like, actually, there's a bunch of animals down in his basement. And Elphaba's like, what the fuck, dude? And the wizard's like, okay, I know what this looks like.
This looks bad.
And Elphaba's like, you should start running now.
Yeah, you should. I'm gonna let these animals out, and you should run. And I crashed Glenda's wedding. Oh no, which is just the perfect visual, like representation of their like her and Fiero's relationship. Like, of course, like a fucking rhinoceros would run right through the middle of it.
So Elphaba is holding the wizard at broom point, and Fiero comes in and starts holding her at gunpoint, and then like tosses the broom back and holds the wizard at gunpoint, and is like, okay, we're gonna go now. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Fiero's like, you better call an ambulance for this fucking guy.
And Glinda is extremely unhappy because Fiero just went with her best friend.
Yeah.
So Marble and the wizard are like, well, shit, what the fuck are we gonna do now? And Glinda's like, just spread a rumor about her sister needing help, and Elphaba will show up.
And what Madame Marble does is, so what I heard you say was, we'll spread a rumor. What I'll do is conjure a tornado and drop a fucking house on her. How about that?
Yeah. And by the way, if you haven't seen the show, this actually happens in the stage musical. The entire plot of Wizard of Oz happens in the second act.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So, Nessa gets killed.
Dorothy puts on the shoes and goes skipping off down the yellow brick road. Glinda takes a moment to reflect. It's like, man, that was kind of shitty. Elphaba shows up and is like, can I mourn my fucking dead sister now,
Which, by the way,
psychopath?
Is she still under there?
Yes.
Because I'd be like, can someone get her out from under there at least?
Well, I mean, if you're accepting that the Wizard of Oz happens more or less as we see it in that movie, then like her feet were sticking out.
And they just kind of rolled back up. Yeah. Like a fruit roll-up feet.
So they have this like hilarious fight scene.
Oh, it
where
is
they just
so
slap
funny.
each other, and then they're fighting with their broom and their big magic wand. They just start punching each other.
It is the funniest part of the movie, and it's really well done. I do also like the fact that Elphaba and Fiero bang.
Yes,
like they get that out of the way.
Like they fuck.
Yeah. And then right before they sing probably the best song of this film, No Good Deed, or the
pre-fucking song.
Yeah, the fuck song. Yeah. The we're gonna fucky fuck song. They fuck. That's basically what we're going toward. And I was very happy for both of them.
Yes.
Because basically the rest of the Wizard of Oz works out the way that you know it. And there's this weird rumor going around that everyone has bought into that is not true, but that if you splash water on the Wicked Witch that she'll melt because her soul is so unpure and disgusting.
So we meet the cast of the Wizard of Oz. Obviously there's Dorothy and Toto.
Yeah.
The Cowardly Lion is that lion cub that
she saved,
set free.
I feel like is very ungrateful for having been saved.
The Tin Man is Bach, who Nessa read something out of the Grimoire and tried to pull his heart out and wound up turning him into metal.
I think Elphaba turned him into metal to keep him alive.
Yeah, tried to save him. Fiero,
guys, Nessa in this movie is kind of a bitch.
She's not good.
She's not great.
The Scarecrow is Fiero after Fiero got dragged into a field and beat up, and Elphaba like casts a spell from the Grimoire to prevent him from dying. He turns into the Scarecrow, and that's the beginning of the fantastic song "No Good Deed Goes Unpunished."
Yeah, that was real good.
Yeah, like the cinematography and everything. Obviously, the music was fantastic, but
so at the end, Dorothy pulls up to the castle with a bucket of water.
I love that Elphaba just locks her in the base and is like, look, I don't give a fuck. Just give me those shoes back and you can go back to Kansas or wherever the fuck. I want those shoes.
And she's like, well, how about I splash water on you? And so the witch melts, melting and all that shit. And then at the end, it turns out, of course, she wasn't allergic to water or whatever. Like, she's perfectly fine.
And she and Fiero go walking off into the sunset.
Yeah. And then Glinda, as you pointed out, go ahead.
Glinda, like, pulls this little green bottle out from under Elphaba's hat and is like, huh, that's weird. Goes to the wizard, shows him the bottle, and says it was a memento of her mother. And the wizard was like, shit, that was my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, shit, that one time, like 20 years ago, I fucked a munchkin woman.
Yeah.
She got pregnant.
Yeah.
Sex makes babies.
Yep. And then Glenda's like,
Hey.
you need to go now. And he's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then she goes to Madame Marble, and she's like, okay, so here's what's going to happen. These monkeys are going to drag you off into the sky, and I am going to become the new military dictator of Oz.
Yes. Yeah, so Glinda just starts taking out the heads of the government, and then she takes over everything.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, the whole point is that, Alphabet's like, I have to be the foil to you. I have to be evil, and you have to be good.
I need to be the bad guy, so you can be the good guy.
And the reason is because I trust your goodness and heart and your character to run everything well.
Yes.
Which, that's Glinda's like, all right.
Understandable.
A coup d'etat it is.
Yeah, that's the movie.
So out of 6 broomsticks, out of 6 flying broomsticks, what do you give it?
4.5.
What did I say? 6?
Yeah.
I give it a 5.
Okay.
Because I would give part 1 like a 5.5.
Yeah, I give that like a 5.5.
Yeah.
That's
It was, and I think that's probably the point. Like if I were to boil it down, is that I liked it a lot. It was not as good as the first one.
This is not the fault of the movie makers so much. Like that's just the way the show goes,
Right.
and the way that the plot is.
All right, so another thing we watched recently.
Welcome to Derry, episode 4.
Called The Great Swirling Apparatus of Our Planet's Function. Mm-hmm. And if you're sitting there thinking, what the fuck does that mean? I don't think they answer that in the episode. I have no idea what the fuck it's supposed to mean. But
so previously, the kids went into the graveyard trying to summon a spirit and wound up getting a bunch of pictures of the spooky ghosts.
Yes. Now, as we predicted, they bring the photos to the cops, and the cops look at it, and it's a funny comedy bit where they're all kind of like they all lean in, and they're like,
look at, this
what
is
the
just
fuck
some
is
fucking
this?
moss on a rock. What the hell?
Yeah.
Well, this is a tree. These are some flowers.
Yes.
That's just a fucking cave.
Even the clear picture of Pennywise, they're just like, I don't really see it, I guess. Which is a recurring thing that happens in Derry, by the way. Terrible things happen to children, but Pennywise is able to kind of cloud the adults' minds so that they don't really remember, or they don't really care, or they don't see what they don't want to see in things. And so they threaten the one girl, right?
Yeah, we'll send you back to the crazy
it's like,
house.
you're going to go back to the nut house if you don't stop doing crazy shit like this. And so they leave dejected.
Yes.
Right? So Leroy takes his son Will fishing, fly fishing, and...
Because it's a little bonding moment. Because the kid hasn't been having the best time in Derry.
Right.
Understandably so. So, like, Leroy, like... So, Will, like, snaps his bait, loses that. Leroy's like, all right, I'm going to go to the car, get some more. And this kid looks down into the water, and this little fish comes up.
A
It's like,
koi fish for some reason.
how you doing? The kid's like, hey, that's great. And then he looks again, and it's his dad all burned up and injured after a plane crash, and gets pulled down into the water, and there's this struggle, and dad comes back. It's like, what the fuck? And kid tells him what's happening.
He's like, I saw a fucking monster. And he's like, no, you didn't. And then he looks at his arms, and he's
and there's a bunch of cuts and things on his wrists. And
like he'd been mauled by like a animal or something.
Like, well, what the fuck?
Now, this is an interesting thing because so far, Will's dad is kind of the only person first that believes him that something weird is happening, and then can see some of Pennywise's shenanigans, right? And I wonder if it is because he cannot experience fear.
I think we're being led to believe
that. And I think that maybe that's what's going on, is that people's fear kind of allows them to put up a screen and ignore and not see the things they don't want to see. Okay. And so Leroy, who doesn't experience fear, is like, oh, that's a floating balloon going against the wind.
That's just a weird red balloon. What the fuck is that doing here?
So obviously something weird is happening, right? Now, in the meantime, his unruly wife is she might be my favorite character in the show, by the way. Yeah, She has. So she wants to talk to the guy that's in prison,
Yes.
who's accused of killing the kids.
She's like, well, you're not family, you're not a lawyer, so no, get the fuck out.
and she's like, well, actually, I'm closer to a lawyer than you think. I'm not technically a lawyer, but let me tell you about all these ways.
Yes.
I could have a bunch of really high-profile
I could
politicians.
call
and,
MLK, JFK,
Yeah.
RFK, some other FKs, which is I thought was a funny little wordplay.
not RFK Jr.
No,
for a variety of
because that
reasons.
guy's a dick.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, probably not. He is probably alive in the 60s, right?
I think so. Maybe.
I don't know.
He would have been very, very young. Anyway,
We'll have to ask his brain tapeworm.
she's like, I could also bring up a couple buses of Freedom Riders who be out there singing We Shall Overcome.
Yes. She's like, I will turn your city, this little town of Derry,
into Montgomery, Alabama.
a liberal hellscape. If you don't let me talk to this
You
man.
just let me talk to this guy. And dude's like,
Yeah.
fine.
So she talks to him. It turns out
On the night that the kids were killed by Pennywise, he was with a white woman,
he was banging a white woman.
which is extremely not okay
Right.
for a black person to be doing
Yes.
in the 60s.
Yep, that's
Like,
very, very bad.
not socially acceptable.
Especially because not only was it a white woman, it was a married white woman.
Yes.
And there are theories about it being Chief Bowers' wife.
I could see that.
Uh,
Or possibly the wife of that one guy who talked to Bowers in the bar an episode or two ago.
Maybe, yeah. So his dilemma is, okay, well, they can execute me for killing kids, or they can execute me for having sex with a white woman.
One will be slightly more legal than the other,
Yeah.
but I'll end up dead either way.
Right. So like, and I like how she's like, stop being a stupid fuck. And like, because I think they work out that he is probably being illegally detained.
Yes.
Because he didn't have.
In fact, he absolutely is,
Yeah.
because they didn't give him all the hearings and things he was supposed to get.
This is what's a little exciting to Stephen King fans, and is going to lead to the surprise that John and I have for you after this while we eat dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out, before they can file the motions they need to file, it is likely
It would be sent to Shawshank.
that he will spend at least a couple of days in Shawshank prison, which is a monumental Stephen King thing that shows up in a bunch of different works and everything. And I've seen some Stephen King fanboys on the internet talking about whether or not we're going to see Red and Andy Dufresne, because they are in Shawshank prison in this era.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be really neat. Now, obviously, they can't get Morgan Freeman. Both of those actors look 30 years older
Yes.
than when they appeared in the film. But it's possible. It might be a nice little nod. So Lily at school and Marge tries to make amends, but she does the Mean Girls
She
thing.
is not making amends.
Right.
She is being put up to this by her Mean Girls friends.
Yes, and the Patty Cake Club or whatever
Yes.
the fuck. And so she's like, "Oh, this boy really likes you," and so
So before this, they're in science class watching this presentation about how slugs get these parasites in their
I was just
eyes.
gonna pretend like this didn't happen in the episode.
If only we could.
Yeah.
And Marge is like poking Lily in the back, like, "Hey, you want to have lunch with me? I'm really sorry. I was being terrible to you. But like, let's start over."
They're also learning about this fucking tapeworm
Yes.
that takes over the body of snails and makes their eyes roll long and
And
pulsy.
then
and
birds come and eat them.
Now, I knew as soon as they were doing this, I'm like, oh, this is going to
yeah.
show up somewhere.
So Marge and Lily are having lunch, and this boy comes over and talks to Lily, says hey, and goes over and
This,
sits
by the
down.
way, like, I think they're all like early high schoolers.
Yes.
And this like 25-year-old man walks over. He's supposed to be a high schooler. You're like,
Marge's like, oh, he's totally into you. You should go say hi. And Lily's like, okay, but I'm going to go to the bathroom.
that's a full-grown man. I don't think so.
So they're in the bathroom. Like, Lily goes to pee, and Marge all of a sudden like feels something weird going on with her eyes, and they start bulging. Like, yeah, they start bulging out, and she freaks out and runs down to the wood shop and tries to get them off with like this.
I like how you phrase that diplomatically, get them off.
Yes.
Like she wasn't taking a chisel and trying to gouge her fucking
Yes.
eyes out.
And finally, that doesn't work. So
And
she
she's
turns
like, you know what? That wasn't extreme enough. That's not fucking...
Bandsaw!
Yeah,
Let's go!
Let's go to the bandsaw.
and like fucking cuts him off and like falls down on the floor screaming. if Liz's like, can you just calm down? And Marge is like, no, give me that chisel back. I need to cut my eyes out. And like Lily manages to wrestle it away from her, but like she's kneeling on top of Marge, and then like all these kids come in and see the two of them covered in blood. Marge with a little like cut on her eye, like she might have actually gouged an eye out,
or at least hurt herself.
Yes.
And Lily
covered in blood,
with
looming over her with this chisel, like, oh god.
Yeah. So what are the chances she goes back to Juniper Hill next episode?
If not prison?
Actually, so the trailer for next week's episode has the group of them talking in that hideout that they kind of in, and Marge has a bandage over one eye.
Yeah.
So I imagine that Marge maybe will stop being such an asshole.
Hopefully.
And like tell them like, oh no,
No, my eyes were definitely bulging the fuck out.
Yeah, I was trying to cut my eye stalks off. It had
fact,
nothing to do with
in fact, she did cut her eye stalks off.
So there's that, and then
Flyboy comes home and is like, "Hey, wife, I heard you were down at the police station. You want to tell me what that's about?" And she's like, "I'm just trying to do the right thing here." And he's
what
like,
police station?
He's like, "Okay, look, I'm not saying we shouldn't have civil rights, but could you maybe chill about it for like just a few minutes, because like I'm trying to do some important work over at the Air Force Base." And she's like, "I definitely do not promise not to do civil rights stuff, not."
Yeah.
He's like,
his wife goes, "Sure, I will definitely listen to you."
And he just looks at her like,
you can tell he's got this resignation. He's like, "Oh fuck,
this is the woman I married."
Yep. So Dick Halloran and the boys have a new spot where they can kind of hang out, which is nice. I know that Leroy confronts the general about what they're doing.
Well, what happens first is his son is like can't sleep, so he uses the telescope and looks around and sees Pennywise and freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then Leroy's like, "Well, what the fuck?" Kid says there's a strange clown in the yard, and Leroy goes out and can't find him. So then he goes to the general and says,
but he does find the red balloon in the tree. So like
red balloon. So there's a connection there.
Yeah, and I think he knows that it's not normal.
Yes.
Like he's
so
like
he
another
marches right into the general's office and says, "What the fuck is going on?"
And he's like, "Well,
let me show you."
Yeah.
There was this the son of the
Taniel. Yeah, the nephew of Rose.
Yes. So Taniel got arrested for snooping around the base, and Halloran comes into the cell and is like, "Okay, look.
Have you ever heard of a Jedi mind trick?"
Like, they are going to know whatever it is they want to know from you. Yeah. It's whether you just tell us voluntarily, or I have to go rooting around in your brain.
Or you and I have to do brain stuff.
That will be extremely unpleasant.
Yeah.
So
for both of us, by the way, I won't enjoy it either.
Yeah. Tana's like, "I'm gonna spit in your face now," and Halloran's like,
brain shit it is.
You just had to do this the hard way. So he goes rooting through Taniel's brain and
opens the file cabinet. And he's like going through.
"Oh, hey, here's the time little baby Taniel told Rose the story of the Galoo, which is Pennywise, and how there's these like chips of rock from the meteorite that brought Pennywise to Earth that form a barrier that he can't go around.
Yeah.
Also, show me where the rocks are now." And Taniel's like, "Okay, like through this door, you go into that house, you go down the well, and there's tunnels, and it's all down there."
Now, the big reveal at the end is that the house they showed, if you were a fan of It Chapter 1 and 2 by Andy Muschietti, the house they show is the dilapidated, like haunted fucking looking house on Neobold Street. And that is the name of next week's episode is Neobold Street, I think. And is where the kids in It access the tunnel systems to get to Pennywise, so they could fight him.
Okay.
And so it is really consequential to like the main story that ends up happening when Pennywise is quote unquote defeated. Stephen King fans aren't entirely sure whether or not that's actually true, because what ends up happening is that he just hibernates anyway and then comes back in 28 years and eats a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
So anyway, let us know what you thought about any and all the things we talked about today. Unfortunately, next week on Wednesday, we will not be back for another episode, but the week after that, we will be, and we'll be talking about a couple of episodes of It, Welcome to Derry, whatever crazy Star Wars shit happens between now and then. We will have some gaming streams. I know some buddies and I I think plan on playing tomorrow night at 7, and then as we get to Thanksgiving. So you can always tune in for that. Make sure you follow us on Facebook Live, Twitch,
Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah. Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
We're on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
The Discord link, the invite link is in the description of this video. You can go check that out as well. Thank you for joining us.